Rise of the harlot, 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Here the word spiritual is in verse 3 and verse 4. Let's start with verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant how that all of our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. So whenever you see in the Bible, see how rock is capital R? That always means it's Christ. That's in many places, so just so you know. It's easy to overlook something that's simple like rock and stone when they mean something very different. And always look if it's capitalized or not. But with many of them God was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Neither be idolaters, and were some of them, as it was written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000. That's a lot of death. That's a lot of dead bodies for one day. All because of fornication and idolatry. Idolatry is very serious. If you don't understand how seriousness idolatry is, you're going to find yourself in an eternal oven of heat. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents. Remember that? Remember? The people were all bitten and killed by poisonous serpents. And they went to Moses and said, please, Moses, pray to God, ask God to give us a cure, to heal us, to get rid of these snakes. And God instead had Moses fashion a bronze serpent on a pole as a visual, as judgment to these people who just wouldn't stop with their fornication and their idolatry. And so God continued to let them be bit, but if they looked upon the judgment of God and repented and turned their ways, and they looked at that bronze serpent, they were healed. They didn't die. But the people know this story. They know Moses' story, so they understand what Paul's talking about here. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer. What's this right here? Gossip. Gossip. Murmured. No, don't gossip. Now all these things happen unto them for ensamples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Let's just look that up, because I'm not sure I know what that means. Unto them for ensamples, that would be an example, and they are written for our admonishment. I just want to see be real clear what the Greek means by this. We can't just take it English. Exhortation, admonition. Whenever in doubt, go to your concordance. Upon whom the ends of the world are come. Wherefore let him think he stand, take heed lest he fall. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. He won't give you more than you can take. See that? But will with the temptation also make a way to escape it. Okay, so if you're tempted, God's not going to give you more than you can handle. But if you fall in temptation, he's going to have an escape route for you. You see that? He's going to have a way out, that you will be able to bear it. Whatever is on your shoulders right now, whatever the temptation is, whatever it is that you're wanting to do that is in and of this world, you're following the course of this world, there's a way out. Okay, sit down and pray for that exit ramp. He's not going to give you more than you can handle. And when it does come upon you, he's going to give you a path to go down. It may be hard to find at first. Be patient and pray. Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. Paul has to keep saying this over and over. What's going on in the days of Paul, Timothy, and John, Peter, Barnabas? What's going on here? This idolatry is pervasive. It is a spider web it can't be broken. You know how strong spider webs are? They're really strong. It's everywhere. Today, it's quite simply the church you're going to every Sunday. You're doing the same thing at the same time weekly. It's a satanic ritual. I know. I get it. You don't want to believe that. I know. Paul knew. That's why he keeps writing these letters. I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless is not the communion of the blood of Christ. The bread which we break is not the communion of the body of Christ. For we are, being many, are one bread and one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread. Behold, Israel, after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? What say I then, that the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything? But I say, that the things which Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of the devils. You cannot partake of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not, which means him. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. And if any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no question for conscience sake. If any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not for his sake that shoot it, and for conscience sake, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Conscience, I say, not thine own, but of the other, for why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience? For if by grace be a partaker, why am I evil spoken of for that which I give thanks? Whether therefore ye drink or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. Give no offense neither to the Jews nor the Gentiles, nor to the church of God. Even as I please all men in all things, not seeking my own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved. So what's going on here is all of the, what's the word I want? Barns. Like the barns or the whatever threshing floors, or when the harvest comes in, farmers have crops and the harvest is coming in. The crops are gathered up, and before it's taken to the markets, because everything wasn't like an open air market in these days. But when the harvest, the food comes into the barns, there's an idol. There's an idol right there, and so everything is presented to the idol and given thanks to the idol. And then the idol, of course, blesses the grain, the harvest, the vegetables, the fruit, whatever. The idol blesses it. Now this is taken right to the market, and you are eating and drinking food that's been presented to idols. So before it was put in the field, the seeds were presented to the idol. An offering is made to the idol. So the seeds are blessed by the idol. They're planted, they grow, they're harvested, they're taken to market. All of this is done with the spirit of idolatry. That's what's going on here. And all God's people said, spread the word.